Joe, Simon and Bobby. After many months of wondrous dating, my partner and I decided it was time to settle down with her wonderful 3 children as a new family and find the home of our dreams. A place where the children had their own space, a nice big garden to run around in, a period house full of character into which we could plunge our hard-earned cash and make our own little family paradise. Weeks of endless online searches commenced, and after seemingly scores of house visits, one came up that looked too good to be true, and we eagerly booked ourselves a viewing. So the morning came for this particular viewing, and it was a dismal early winter's day. A heavy mist had dropped onto southeast London. The skies were leaden grey. It's not a very seasonal one, is it? On the hottest day of the year. Anyway,
skies were a bit cooler though.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, it's like a little bit of air conditioning.
Thanks, Mike.
The skies were leaden grey and the wind was whipping around. You might almost call the weather eerie. Even in the gloom, the first sight of the house in its full glory raised our hopes a little bit higher. It was better in real life than in the photographs, but our excitement took an early blow. As we entered the front garden, we met the estate agent with an enthusiastic greeting, but hiding behind the pristine hedge was another couple with a young daughter. It was a double viewing, and they were all dressed as if they were going for a job interview. Compared to our pretty regular day-at-home clothes, they were beautifully presented, and with the added bonus of a precocious young golden child to whom they clung. We had some major competition on our hands, we realised that, and in my mind, the opposition clearly had the upper hand from the off. As we entered the building, the enemy chewed the ear off the estate agent. We were quickly relegated to the back of our tour party, merely listening in as the couple swooned over the details of the house as we moved from lovely room to lovely room. I noticed the parents kept on asking their daughter what she thought of it, and it occurred to me that her buy-in might be necessary. I wasn't 100% sure about the house. What man ever is? But I was at 95% and my deserving partner was at 110%. This was the one. Ticked all the boxes and more. Before she leant in and whispered into my ear, I already knew what she was going to say. But she said, "We must have this house. We must." I knew where I stood and I was already losing a battle I simply had to win. But I had nothing. Nada. We didn't have the chat. We didn't have the clothes. We didn't have the perfect family look, and the executive couple looked like they had cash by the lorry load if the stakes were going to be raised. My partner and I moved alone into the front room, and I looked out of the window into the dark and doom-like day. It was a reflection of my predicament. Leaving her parents, the young daughter wandered in alone, and I noticed that her expression wasn't one that matched her parents. She seemed less sure of this new environment. Understandable in any child. An instinctive, desperate idea came to me in a flash. It's not my proudest moment. Far from it. It was a little bit underhand. Actually, it was more than that. It came from the devil's own sewer of schemes, says Mike, over-elaborating, I think. As the girl stood within earshot, I called my partner over, who was studying the lovely large fireplace. Loud enough for the girl to hear, but quiet enough not to alert the parents or the estate agent to my plan, I said in a frightened tone, "Did you hear that weird noise behind the wall?" A puzzled look came from my better half. The girl didn't raise her head, but I could tell she was all ears. "Yeah, I heard a noise like rats. Big rats. Lots of them. And that smell. Can you smell it? It smells like something has died." My partner's face changed. She realized from my nod and a wink glare what fiendishness was afoot. She was aghast. But I had started and I had to finish with a flourish before she could intervene and correct my deeply flawed morals. "In fact," I continued, I'm sure I saw something at the top of the stairs. I think it was a ghost. This place scares me witless. We can't possibly live here with our children. The place is haunted." I was looking straight at my partner, but was also scanning the young girl's face. It immediately filled with fear, and she quickly bade for the comfort of her parents. Well, her mum and dad arrived at the door as she rushed to depart it, but any chilling protestations she had suddenly acquired had to wait, as the parents joyously told the estate agent to expect a call in a matter of hours, if not minutes, and quickly departed. I will never know what conversation ensued in the car of the departing family, or what trauma may have afflicted the young girl in the nights that followed, But what I can tell you is how this underhand story ends. I'm sitting here writing this plea for forgiveness to you both, and a young child who'll now have grown up, hopefully without any major psychological scars, from within my beautiful period house with a lovely large garden here in southeast London. And my family and I have very much made our own. I fall at your collective feet. Mike is clearly not asking for forgiveness. He doesn't care. He got the house. Very underhand methods. And I suspect Bobby's going to...
She's looking a bit stern, isn't she? Look at that face.
Well, you see, because, he did mess with that child. Anyway, what do you say there,
I'm quite conflicted because I really, really do understand the desperation to have a home that you'd have done absolutely love. I probably would.
You'd have done the same.
But then I've got a small child who would be terrified in that situation. So I can't forgive Mike. I can't forgive him. But I do understand how he might have done this.
Really? I'm not quite convinced. I think you're just saying that.
Probably.
Anyway, Bobby.
The thing is, he says, imagine that conversation. She'd have got in the car, surely, and gone, Mummy, that man said there was a ghost. And they'd have gone, lovely, lovely daughter. I don't know what
Golden
her name
Child.
was. Yeah, Golden Child. Of course there wasn't a ghost. Don't be silly. I don't like the house either. Oh, it's too much money. I think actually it would have been fine. So despite your lack of guilt, it only worries me that you feel no shame.
She'd have been freaked. She'd have got in the car and said, that house is haunted.
And
there was a ghost.
Don't be, if it was you, you'd have said, don't be silly, or what? And she'd have said, well, listen, that man said, and then they'd gone, don't be silly, it'd be fine. So I don't think she was traumatised.
But then you can't shake that off once that thought is in a child's head.
Oh, but it wasn't your best. It wasn't your best time. But having said that, you did secure a roof over the head for the other three. So maybe, having a house for 3 children is better than having a house for 1 child. You can see I'm desperate because I can I'm going to forgive you.